Hello, and welcome to Spiel. I hope a lot of you saw my cataclysmic confrontation video last week, because we're running the mission again now. Because I need the pages for the events so that I can get hats and things. I'm really terrible at these kind of events. I never do enough. I always think, I'll leave it to last minute, and then I end up not getting the things. I didn't get any of those scarves from the Christmas thing. I left it till the last day to try and get the last 400 tokens, and turns out what I thought was the last day was actually the day after the last day, and all the tokens just vanished, and I didn't get anything. Never mind that I could have bought like 7 lockboxes with it, and I didn't get any of them. So I'm really bad at that. So I'm gonna try and really want a cat hat. It'll be a miracle if I can get one and get it to even 4-star, I think. Anyway, yeah, hi and welcome. I'm John, aka Meroka. Hello, welcome all new subscribers that happen to see that video, because that is actually my most successful video to date. Seem to have picked up a few new followers from that one. So hello and welcome. I hope you have a good time. This is what I normally do. What I normally do is I play my way through Spiel Knight's missions and talk about stuff. I do this every week, and I usually try and find something interesting to talk about. So I hope that's something you're interested in, because if it is, you're in the right place. So, what I want to talk about this week is the future, and not some kind of strange Mystic Meg kind of way. Well, let's start with the future of the channel, because right now I've got 2 series imminent to finish. Little Inferno, last episode this week. I don't feel like that's much of a spoiler. I've been working through them 1 chapter a week, and there are obviously 7 chapters. So yeah, last bit going up this week. If you want to stick with it, it's a really long episode. I'm afraid it's like 50 to 55 minutes long. It's stupid, it really is. I hadn't anticipated it having quite such a spectacular ending, but it does have a spectacular ending, so definitely check that out. That'll be going up on Friday. But that means I will need something entirely new to show off next week. Next week there will also be, assuming everything goes according to plan and I don't take forever over it, I should probably finish Tiny and Big in Grandpa's Leftovers as well. So in 2 weeks, ow! That stings. In 2 weeks I'll need something else as well. And last week I did mention that I quite like the idea of having a little bit more flexibility over what I put on the channel, sort of having a free-ish kind of slots to post whatever the hell I dang well please on my channel. Ow! Friggin' fiends. Fiends are a nuisance. So I might do some kind of quick look review type thing, the kind of thing I did for the Advent project. So 1 look at a thing and then move on. Kind of, but probably not really a very good review format. First impressions, if you will. It's something I'd like to do because it means I will get to try out more stuff, because God knows my back catalogue of games is extensive and ever-growing. Because the amount of things I would actually like to make a LP of as well is actually getting quite considerable. When I first decided I'll finish a series and then replace it with another one and just sort of fill in the gaps, I had a few games I wanted to play. Now there's like 2 more out this week that I want to play. Antichamber is obviously a bit of an indie darling at the minute. I got to play that at PAX East last year, and it's crazy as all hell, but really cool. And I would like to play the finished product. It doesn't look a lot different. I don't think it's changed graphically a great deal, but I think there's obviously going to be a lot more content. Crazy as it is. The other indie darling, as it were, that's doing the rounds at the minute is Proteus or Proteus, or however one pronounces that word. That does look like a really quick game, but it's also a really, really pretty game and my kind of thing because it's not really a game, which is totally my style. So I would like a look at that. Not entirely convinced about the price tag to amount of content in there, but it does look beautiful. So we shall see about that. Unfortunately, also started watching some of Generic V's series, Generic V of the Mindcrack guys. He's started playing through Prison Architect, which is a sort of prison-themed Sim City kind of. It's a management simulator with really, really dark themes, and it just looks really cool. Ow! Why did I take my shield down there? So that's something else I want to try. On top of that, McPixel's been on my to-do pile since the Advent project, and just was it last week? Yes, it was last week. There was No Time to Explain as well, which I played the original version of that when it was just a Flash game, and that's an amazing game. Actually, it wasn't amazing when it was Flash, I'll be honest. It was actually pretty rough. It was very rough when it was in Flash, actually. And it just... Ow! I knew I should have healed up. I always should have healed up. There was never a time I shouldn't have healed up. We know this by now. Not much I can do. And I'm still taking chairs to the face. Stop throwing furniture! Who throws an office chair, honestly? So yeah, what was that? That was No Time to Explain. That's what that was. It was. They actually released this on the Pirate Bay of all places. However, the copy of it that was released on the Pirate Bay, your character was forced to wear a pirate hat, which is one of the best design decisions I've ever heard in my life. And I think it's worth your money on that basis alone. But I mean, I guess you know my thoughts on physics-based platformers at this stage. I don't much like them, but I don't know, it's one of those things that's charming enough to be able to get away with it. Charming and cool enough to be able to get away with it. I mean, the basic premise of it is your future self shows up with a giant laser gun, says, "I am you from the future, there's no time to explain, come with me," before immediately being eaten by a giant robotic crab. And thus you pick up your future self's cool ass laser gun and go solve a lot of various cool physics and laser based gun puzzles. I don't think there needs to be much more plot to it than that, it's just cool as is. So that's something I want to play. I really don't know which of those I want to do. If any of those sound appealing to you, throw me a message in the comments. I'd like someone to make a decision for me, because God knows I can't make a decision. Really, really leaning towards No Time to Explain or Prison Architect myself, but I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. So that's kind of channel-based things. Ouch, my recording's still really kind of bad at the minute. I don't know what's up with that. I need to do a little bit of research on that one. So yeah, that's the channel-based things. I always do the channel-based things, whether you like to hear about them or not. You eat spikes from a distance. So what I actually need to talk about is the actual future, not just my future. And particularly as it pertains to this charming little fellow, Spiral Knights. I happened to be perusing the forums, which was probably a mistake. Internet forums are always a mistake. There was a topic about how will the game end? A natural thing to think about. It's kind of, with the exception of perhaps World of Warcraft, these things can't last forever. There are very, very few MMOs that do have the staying power to last forever. And I'm not entirely convinced that Spiral Knights is that. It does seem to be doing well, but I don't think it's going to be a around forever kind of thing. And it's kind of different from other MMOs. Other MMOs kind of are very open-ended and they just build upon it, build upon it, build upon it, make more content as they go along. Spiral Knights, yes, we get all the new content, but right from the off, we know. Story so far, we are crash-landed on a strange alien planet, and we need to get off it. We have found a potential way to get off it. You need to go and harness the power to start up your spaceship and get off the planet. You know what, I don't much fancy hanging around in the graveyard. It's not like there's any cats in here to be found. I might just race through this a little bit. So yeah, with a clear and definitive end in sight, at some point we've got to find out what's inside the core of Cradle. At the bottom of the clockwork, step 29. Whatever you will. Ah, dead end! I mean, at this stage, most people who've been playing this game any length of time get to the core on a pretty regular basis. I mean, most people drop out of parties before they even get to the core at this stage. They just get to end of Vanajuk or whatever you're doing and just drop out. Don't even bother looking at the core. I don't know, for some reason I feel obliged to do so. I've made the effort to go all the way down there. I feel like I had some sort of strange, misguided tribute. I should actually go down and have a look at the core itself every time. It's kind of my thing. So, oh, I'm gonna have to fight the red dudes, maybe. Oh no, I can still run away. Oh, he could chase me this way. On top of that, the content has obviously been expanded at the stage, so we've now got the Shadow Layers, which... it's very hard to place what or where that content falls in regard to the core. It almost seems to run parallel to the final depths. And I'm really trying to avoid giving spoilers here. This seems like the sort of thing I could spoil really easily if there's anybody who hasn't seen it. I would like to think that anybody who's particularly interested in Spiral Knights and watches my video for that reason would probably have been to the core at this stage. And anybody that watches my videos because they like my videos and aren't especially interested in Spiral Knights itself probably wouldn't care about me spoiling the ending too much. But there's always going to be somebody who's going to be upset if I tell you what happens, so... I don't know how to handle this. It's a delicate issue. That's what it is. Delicate indeed. So let's just grab some loot and dance around the issue. So yeah, you got the Shadow Layers, which seem to imply... oh, look, okay. I'm going to give you a story spoiler here. If you have any designs on completing a Shadow Layer yourself and don't want the story spoiled, what you should do is stop the video now, or skip ahead about a minute or so. I'm not going to talk about this for long, but just skip ahead about a minute. Go on, do it. You gone? Is that everyone gone? Is it just us pros and vets and people who don't care about the game left? Good. Okay, right, I can talk to you guys. Right, so the Shadow Lair is... once you get to the bottom of the Shadow Lair, there's some dark and evil shadowy presence, and the implication is that there is some manner of great evil at the centre of Cradle. And this is what's corrupting all the enemies and causing all the problems, why everything attacks us, why we can't just get off the planets, everything. This is why this guy's hacking away at me right now for a start, and why we get all the corrupted bosses and things. And the suggestion is perhaps that the Clockworks is not an accident, it is in fact a prison that's designed to hold something, and we shouldn't be breaking it out. Okay, spoilers over. Okay, I've no way to tell people to come back here. Maybe I should put an annotation link. That might work. Yes, well, I'll stick an annotation in to bring people back in here. That'll do the job. Okay. So right now that we're all back together here. So that's what's in the core. No, I've got no idea what's in the core. I didn't really spoil that much. So, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Where was I going with that? Yeah, basically, assuming we can get the power source from the core and there's not some horrible plot twist, that's supposedly the end of the game. There shouldn't be any more to it than that. That should be the end, bye-bye, cradle, and all that. And if we don't go there, what's the point of the bloody game? The whole point of the game is to get off the planet, and if we never get off the planet, why are we playing? You're just stringing us along, you're teasing us, Three Rings. At the same time, I don't know, they keep making content, and well, this cat thing at the minute is very open-ended content. It doesn't really pertain to anything. Operation Crimson Hammer was kind of good content, but there's nothing to progress the story in any way, shape or form, and I think without some actual story it could... People are going to start getting a bit jaded about it, I think. People are going, where's all the story gone? And there is no story. And there's no story forthcoming. There. Stop shooting. Oh, I'm poisoned, that's right. I'm only dealing half damage. So, yeah, it's got to come to an ending sometime, and ultimately the question is, how will the game end? The one notable story I always remember, I never played the game, and having heard, as soon as I heard the news the game had ended and how the game had ended, I was rather kicking myself that I hadn't gotten involved. It was Tabula Rasa. The way they ended that is, obviously the date came when they can't afford to run the game, people they aren't making enough money out of the game to keep it viable anymore, so the game's got to end. So the day eventually came where they had to turn the servers off, and what they did was they scheduled a massive, pretty much apocalyptic event. They summoned hordes and hordes and hordes of evil enemies. I don't know what the factions and enemies were called in the game, but all I know is the evil presence in the world was just amplified many fold. All the servers were merged into one, so everybody was playing together. The whole world was fighting off this evil menace as one. And eventually time came when it was an unwinnable battle. It was designed from the outset to be completely unwinnable. The players were not supposed to win this because it's the end of the world, it's the apocalypse, the servers are ending. And that sounds really cool. I think the GMs got stuck in there as well. They were just jumping into the fight on the side of the bad guys and just summoning demons and minions and things and just throwing crazy amounts of stuff at the players. And when I heard about that, it's like, oh man, that's something I would really dearly have liked to have seen. And by the time I'd heard about it, it was obviously far too late to ever experience it. While doing my research for that, because I honestly couldn't remember what that game was called. Despite it being that notable, I couldn't remember which game it was that had ended like that. I just remembered the story about it. I happened to stumble across a tragic bit of news. An MMO that I've gotten sucked into on 2 occasions actually. Glitch, which was made by, at least one of the designers on it was the guy who made Katamari. That was a browser-based MMO that was really quirky and weird, and it was so much fun. but I kind of I overplayed it and burned out on it like twice. I played it for a while, ages ago, maybe before Spiral Knights, I don't know. The game never even left beta. It was in beta for so long. It went through 2 different betas, I think. And I'm really gutted to hear about that closing, because it was such a good game. Ow. And I gather that was a rather cool, graceful ending. They continued to add new content to the game right up to the end. All the really rare items they gave as rewards to quests and stuff at the end, so all the really cool stuff that were previously super limited edition, everybody got to play with. And on the final day, all of the gods in the world appeared before the players and gave them a farewell message. So thanks for playing, oh, it's been wonderful to have you here, all that. That again, it's really cool. And to say this time it was a game I had played. I'm really disappointed I missed that now. Downright tragic. Something I would dearly have loved to have seen. Go away, Spikes. I don't need... No! Are you okay? Fine, you die. And you do. So, all the MMOs end. I would like to see the end of an MMO that goes out well one day. I mean, I suspect a lot of them probably just go out more with a whimper than a bang. Just turn the server off one day. So long, thanks for all the fish and all that. I hope Spiral Knights doesn't do that. That would be sad if Spiral Knights just went, nope, server's off. Bye. Thanks. Man, I wish I'd seen that ending. So, those kind of theories aside, obviously, right now, immediate future is content that will be coming to Spiral Knights. Someone mentioned in the comments of my the Cataclysmic Confrontation video that this mission, well, not this mission, this content has potential, I think. What they need to do is drop the mission. The mission's no good to anyone. We don't need to have this here day in day out. What if they kept the hats and they kept the cats and the hats? Not just for alliterative rhyming purposes, even though that's cool. What they need to do is... Well, basically, what that would achieve is it would add new loot to the game, which, at this stage, well, there's not a lot of new actual functional loot ever really does get added to the game. It's lacking a bit in that respect, so it adds the new loot to the game, and on top of that, it adds an interesting new mechanic by which you can get said loot. Normally, you've just got all this grinding going on. And I suppose, yeah, this still is a kind of grind, but it would be a rare mob kind of grind. I think you'd have to turn down the actual spawn rate on these cats as well. At the moment, the cats are... You go through a cat-themed mission. You've usually got, I would say, somewhere in the region of like a 50% chance of getting one. Some people would probably tell you it's higher, some people would probably tell you it's lower, but I reckon somewhere, it works out somewhere around that mark. If you dropped it to, say, one of those cats appears once every 5 or once every 10 missions, the actual time it would take you to get what you need would be a lot longer, but I think there'd be a much more interesting process because it would give you a long-term goal to work towards. You got this other item that can only be gotten over a long-term process. And the fact is, once they've done that once, it adds the potential for them to do similar mechanics in the future as well. I mean, at that point, yeah, obviously you're risking running down the path of just recycling content again, but... Oh, I knew that was coming. I could see that was coming. Damn it. There's no option but to forge onwards. So, right, okay, they're not shooting anyone. That's a good start. So, So yeah, I think that would do the game good, adding new content in that manner. Let's get this guy down. Never mind. Let's. Oh! Ugh! Let's heal up, heal up, heal up. Damn you. Don't normally have this much trouble. Oh, who am I kidding? I always do. I'm terrible at this damn game. Let's get him. He's on his own. Ugh. Yeah, he's down. He's down. Good. No more summoning ads. Ah. Damn it, cats, go away! Oh my god. I'm getting destroyed here. God damn it! You're down, good. Stay down. Why you no drop hearts? I need those. So yeah, if they wanted to add new content in the future, all they've got to do is add a rare mob and let it drop stuff. Because I think the way this is paced is bad, because it's just 2 weeks mad scramble to get as many tokens as you can. Everyone's just grinding cat missions over and over and over and over again. It's just turned it into a 2-week grind fest for tokens in order to get a limited edition hat. I know the mission's coming back in the future, which is supposed to, I suppose, mitigate the mad scramble, but it's not really going to do that much for it. So I think if it was just something that was always here but different, it would give people who wanted to work on it something to work on, and something nice, and just a nice long-term aside for everybody else. So that sort of thing works well. I like it. So, on that note, I think it's time to call it there for the day. Thanks for watching. I hope I've been interesting, and I hope all my new subscribers have enjoyed it. Thank you again. If you want to show your appreciation, clicking the little like button down there is probably the best way you could possibly show that. And if you really absolutely loved it, favoriting it would mean the world to me. So, I shall see you next week. Bye! Oh yeah, sword thing.